kill our own babies to keep our autonomy. You mess with our Second Amendment, we probably gon' ride.
But check out the probably. I'm still in America. The coast where I live, we ain't speaking much English. We do all the labor and do all the cleaning, but we don't get treated like equals.
All right, we got a lot to get to today, baby. We got a lot to get to. Let's get to this. Let's get to this pod, baby. Let's get to this pod. Give me some claps up in here. What's good? What's good? What's good? Shout out to the loyalty crew out there, baby. Y'all holding it down. I appreciate y'all, man. We getting into this thing. Let me get my notes, man, because we cooking up here. Man, let's see. I hope y'all doing good today, man. When you're listening to this, it's early. It'll be Tuesday or whatever day you're listening to the pod. And yeah, man, we in this thing, man. We getting going, and we gonna make today a good day. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn these fans off, man. All right, there we go. Y'all know how we do around here, man. We family. We ain't no front around here. Give me some more claps for being one of the most authentic podcasts that you ever heard in your life. I got you. All right. Well, if you don't know, my name is Aloysius Ballard. I am an award-winning cinematographer, videographer, creative director. Man, I've won, and thankfully, and I say this very humbly, I was able to be afforded some opportunities where I could show my gift and share my gift, and a few people liked it, man. We won some Addies, and I don't shy away from sharing that story. Anywho, man, but we're gonna get this pod started. If you don't know, this is the world according to Low. That's right. Everybody calls me Low for short. And if you're listening out there and you're a returning listener, you're not even just a returning listener. You're part of the loyalty crew, man. I know that's reserved for the Patreon supporters, but I'm just saying, if you support your boy on a constant basis, man, I fool with you. Thank you for being loyal. And it's also a play on my name, Low. You can't have loyalty without the LO, and that's how we rocking with that. All right, man. I got a list of things to get to today. We're going to chop it up and talk. So let's get this pod started. It's the world according to Low. Come on, turn this up in your car, your AirPods. Hey, it's gonna be a good show. It's the world according to Low. So let's sit and grow. It's gonna be a good Yo. Episode 65 is here. 65. We trying to get to 100. How many is what is that left? Like man, let's do some quick math. 65, 100 from was minus 65 is what, like 35? We got like 35 more episodes to get cooking. And that's nothing to your boy, because if I can get to 65, I can do another 35 with no problem. So let's get into today's podcast, man. Oh my gosh. I promise y'all, listen. I promise y'all, I do not want to have to talk about this subject, but it just seems like things are expanding. We got to talk about Kanye. We got to talk about Kyrie. Like, media-wise right now, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things at play. You know, Kanye, and Kanye's going to come up a couple times in this episode. But yeah, man, Kanye is still Kanyeing, or Ye, as he so passionately likes to be called. Is still out here making trouble, man. Still making noise. He's dropping names of the Jewish community and making a stampede about that, about the practices of contracts and how the Jewish community is controlling so much of the culture. And he wants to sit down with the 12 leaders of the tribes of Jewish communities or nations, or tribes. I think that's a proper way to say it. I don't want to be disrespectful in any sense of the words. So he wants to sit down with the heads of the Jewish community and have a open dialogue live on TV where nothing can be fabricated and they can discuss these things. Well, it's funny that he mentions the Jewish community, because we switch over to the NBA. And Mr. Kyrie Irving, who is known to be a very big philanthropist as well as student of cultures, shared a, I guess you want to say a short film or documentary about black Hebrews and like Jewish people, the original Jew, as some of the content states, that the Jewish community today is not how the Jewish community started, that it was originally from, blacks, and that, a lot of the things in their rights were stripped away, and a lot of wealth and a lot of opportunities now lie with the Jewish community that we consider, based on things that they've endured during their plight. You can get into that on your own. I just want to make you aware that these are things that we are talking about in shaping the landscape of what we do as creatives. We're talking about freedom of speech. We're talking about creating content that is divisive. Some people say that the content was very divisive in how it is delivered, where it is considered anti-Semitic. And if you don't know what that means it just goes against, it's like prejudice against the Jewish community. So in that, Mr. Kyrie Irving has now been suspended from the Nets, as well as he has been given a very heavy list of things to do before he is permitted the opportunity to return to gameplay by the Nets. This is not the NBA, to my understanding. It is just what the Nets are wanting him to do to make amends, or what they feel will help make amends. Kyrie said he never sought to do any ill or harm, that he often shares things that allow his audience or his platform listeners to go study and learn for themselves and grow. But too much is given, much is required. And now you see where Kyrie is in a situation, even after apologizing, where now they want to take it a step further, and they want to make an example to anybody else to be able to not just share or spread things that can be deemed harmful to any organization or group. So I would love to know what you guys think. You can always go over to IG, Instagram. My handle is Aloysius Ballard, Aloysius Ballard, or better yet, go follow the World According to Low platform, podcast on IG. The handle is TWATL podcast, the World According to Low podcast. And let's have that discussion there. A matter of fact, I'm going to try to start doing more interactive things where you guys can interact with me, because a lot of you do listen, and I love hearing from you guys. Shout out to Kimon, who finally went over, and I love Kimon. Give it up for Kimon. Yeah, Kimon, one of our friends of the pod. He followed me recently on IG, and he sent me a funny message saying that he can't believe he hadn't followed me yet, because he supports the podcast, and I love the support, and I love that brother. So yeah, shout out to Kimon, man. Y'all show him some love wherever you are. Clap it up for him. Now, getting back to this, I want to know what you think. I want to know, as creatives, as people who we often document and produce content for people who have a voice, what is too far, or what is it being a reach when people have things that they want to convey, or information that they feel is factual? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm worried that like it's going to get to the point where even black people can't talk about like being slaves, because some of the white community could say easily, hey man, that's offensive, that's anti-white because that makes us look bad, or that doesn't make us feel good. Like, are we? And I feel like some of that is already happening, because if you pay attention to the news, there are like bills trying to be passed where you see people wanting to erase certain things from history now that makes certain groups look not in their best light. And for that, I like to have open discussions, because growing up, and people always get shocked when I say this, I won't say his name because I don't want to out anybody, because this was years ago when we were in high school, and I don't know what his life is today. And this is why I tell y'all the power of media. By saying someone's name who I grew up with, that I've seen their KKK cards, right? Like I played sports with guys whose fathers were in the Ku Klux Klan, and they were by force initiated to join this organization because their dads saw it as some type of club or literally organization that they were passing down like it was an inheritance. And I remember being in conversations with them where they would tell me, like, one of my friends, and I had multiple friends who were forced to be in the KKK because their dads just believed that was the right thing for them. And I remember one time, one of my friends, we were in the field house, and it was his birthday, and he was like upset because he was like, hey man, like, I don't want to do this. Like, there's a whole thing they do when you turn a certain age where you get like initiated, and like you have to, you know, partake in some stuff. Like, it's just not what he was looking to do. He wasn't excited about it. And he wanted me to know, as his friend, that he didn't hate black people. He said, if you ever hear about me being involved with this, like, I want you to know, like, I don't have a choice. Like, I'm afraid of my dad if I don't go along with this. And I understood, like, being in the South, being raised in the South, that hatred was something that was being beat sometimes into these children and these kids who would grow up and play with us, but then they had to put on and develop some type of hatred at home for something that they did not want to do. And, you know, when you look at how easy hatred is spread, and we're not going to make this a race pod, it's just sad that we look at where we are in culture again, and it's like we're stirring all this unnecessary energy into not liking each other. And I think a lot of it has to do with the content we create. You know, if we started creating more things that were more inclusive of everyone, that was more well received about how we can love and support and help each other, I think we would have a very different society. I think that people would know that, hey man, we're all human beings, right? We're all people who want to live and have our best lives. And why does our color, race, creed have to get in the way of that? That's just sad to me, right? So let's, you know, I want to hear what you think. Hit me up on IG. Let me know. And because of that, I want to move on to some new stuff. This is light stuff. Let's wake y'all up a little bit. All right. Got that in there. So I want to switch subject. I just wanted to do something drastic to make you just switch gears. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about is things that may concern you if you are creative. So YouTube has been rolling out some new features that will allow you to grow your channel, your platform on YouTube. And I'm a strong believer. Now, this is going to sound funny. I'm a strong believer in YouTube, right? YouTube is connected to one of the biggest databases in the world, Google. And because of that, it's good to have content that is circulating there, because it allows you to be found and your content to be seen by people who are looking specifically for what you're doing. So if you want to know what some of the new features are that are beneficial to you, is one, they are rolling out the ability to create your own handle now on YouTube, which means that I will be going to get at Aloysius Ballard for my personal channel, as well as personalized handles that I already use for other platforms that I create and post content on YouTube with. So that makes it easy for people now to mention you. So if you collab with someone, let's say you and I do a video and you have a YouTube channel, I can easily tag you in that title or anywhere in that description, where it will take people directly to your channel more easily than me having to put a URL in there. So shout out to YouTube. That's a great feature. We've been waiting on that one for a while. Now, the other thing that they're rolling out is the ability to have a community tab. So now they're unlocking the community tab for creators. I don't even think you have to be a partner. Well, I know you don't have to be a partner, but it's going to allow you to post more engaging things like photos, little snippets that you can quickly talk to your community about and get there. You can poll them. Like, there's a slew of things that you can use to properly build engagement for your channel. So if you haven't been using your YouTube channel, make sure you go over there and accept these new outlets and tools that they're giving you. I want to see you guys like grow and thrive. So when I found that out, I said, man, I got to make sure I'm mentioning this on the pod. And those are two of the main things, but they also have things now where playlists, you got to make sure you're using playlists. Like if there's things that you're creating, if you're doing tutorials on a certain subject, if you're doing reviews of certain things, or if you're just doing your podcast, make sure you're using the playlist so that YouTube will know all of this content plays well together. So if someone starts watching this video, one of these videos within your playlist, YouTube will say, hey, here's the other relevant information or video content that you will be interested in based on your time watching this video. So those are good things that we can use to build our engagement, to grow our channels. I'm really trying to get my channel back up so I can get back into the partnership. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go over to YouTube, Aloysius Ballard, and subscribe for your boy. They have a couple other things, but I want those to be the main things that you focus on right now. Also, I've been taking some courses, man. I want to talk about this. I've been taking, I believe in studying people who are successful in certain things that I'm looking to grow in, right? So one of the things that I've been doing is taking courses. And I've been looking out, and I've been on Teachable. I've been on, I have people send me stuff all the time. Yo, I see you doing your content. I came across your Instagram reels, blah, blah, blah. I love it. If we, how can I help you? How can I have a course that'll help you build your traction and your engagement, all of these things, right? Well, I want to say this, not all pods, I guess you could say not pods, not all courses are created equal. Some of them are just ways to get your money and give you very poor produced content. Now, some of these courses that I'm not going to call names because I don't like bashing people. But some of these courses I've looked at and taken and purchased are terrible. And I mean, like, I'm like, dude, you're just rambling about nothing and you just took my money. Like, what's the point of that if you're not going to give me something of substance? Or the thing that I've noticed is that they give you breadcrumbs just to funnel you into buying something else. There's always a new funnel. Oh, well, if you really want to get in depth with analytics, then you should take this course that I created. You said you were covering it in this course. And matter of fact, like, I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people that were talking about like even some masterclass courses. So there's a gamer by the name of Ninja, and Ninja created this masterclass, right? So he has millions of followers. He's got endorsement deals. He's pretty much grown his channel by just gaming Fortnite every day, and now he's branched out into some other things. But for the most part, he has started developing more things that really make him, appear to be someone who could teach other people how to do what he did. But come to find out, he did that very poorly. And his masterclass, which was like $200, I want to say, was very lackluster. And a lot of people complained because he was saying things like dye your hair. Like, really? You got 1 million followers by dyeing your hair? You know how many people dye their hair every day? There's people on YouTube that probably dye their hair every week and only have 100 followers or subscribers. That is not something practical that we can use to grow and scale your online community. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of repetition, and you got to know hashtags. You got to know SEO a little bit. Like, there's things about it. You got to have good content. You got to have relevant content. All of these things are things that make you valued in our society or to that community of people that want to grow from what you're doing. And that's why, I want to make sure that when I'm doing these podcasts that I'm giving you something of value, but I have learned to hone in on my group. So my group, or my niche, so to speak, and you need to know your niche. Your niche is like who would be curious or who would be interested in what you're talking about. So one thing about me, the world according to Lo, we talk about things from, video production or production lifestyle, because I do audio as well. Video, audio production, creatives, because not only am I a videographer and I have background in audio engineering and production, but I am also a creative director. I'm a digital coordinator by trade now, for the last couple of years. So I am in the marketing communications industry as well. And because of that, I also sprinkle my production lifestyle. I do all of those things as well into doing production for my church as well. So I have that hat and all these different things that go on and my community tends to be that. Now, I am a musician also, but I don't really, that is not where I focus my attention. Live streams, video, audio to a degree. Now used to be heavy back in the day, but then the creative aspect of how we develop marketing and strategy and all of those things that go into making projects happen is what you will get from me. Anytime you have a conversation. Oh, and I forgot, I love helping people build people up. So you will get motivation from me as well. So I took all of those things, I threw them in a pot, and I stirred it up, and now my gumbo niche is someone who falls within those lines. If you are in video, if you are in audio, if you are in marketing or communications, or if you are a creative who looks for motivation, you can come here and get all of that from this platform. And because of that, I'm really starting to know how to hone in and have the skill set and the topics that will feed one of those areas. Because truthfully, If you're going to be great in this field, you need a little bit of knowledge about all of these things. You need motivation. You need to know how to strategize. You need to know how to build and create things, whether it's audio or video, from an idea to something tangible. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And these are things that I want to start sharing more with you guys. And, we're going to do that. Now, speaking of these courses, I say that for you to be aware of what you invest in, because I do stand behind the notion that we should be eternal students. You should always be learning something. If you don't like to read, use audio or video. If you don't like video, you don't like watching things. Some people don't. Get an audio book, get an audio course, get a book that feeds into you, or an ebook, something that can give you more insight into growing as a creative. And because of that, I just didn't like the way I felt when I went in expecting someone to teach me something, when they received something from me and it was not up to par. So I want to make sure you guys, when you're out there, vet someone, vet their content, look in the reviews, take that time. It's worth it so that you can grow and get what you have been looking for. Now we're going to switch again, because speaking of investments, right, I noticed that there are a lot of new cameras bouncing around. This is for my camera people. There are a lot of new cameras going around, and really this applies to audio as well, because I see this stuff too, whether it be Apogee or UA having new interfaces and all these things, all these new plugins and all the stuff that we be trying to buy, and headphones and gear, rack gear, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and we get gear fever. I used to have gear fever bad back in the day. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm not going to even hold you. I'm going to tell you, it was a struggle. I always wanted to try the next new thing, because it always pushed me to new parameters and boundaries of what I was capable of doing. And being that I worked solo on a lot of things, a lot of projects in my area, I had to have tools that would substitute someone doing something. And that is good and bad, because you could end up having a bunch of investments in things that you really aren't maximizing the value out of. But I learned to allow the work to force you to upgrade. And what you do by that, and what I mean by that, is allow things to get you to the point where you have no choice but to expand your inventory, or whatever the case. But most importantly, listen to me. Take care of the gear you have so you can flip it for someone coming behind you. I've mastered that. If you take care of the gear you have, when it's time to upgrade, you can have no problems cleaning that camera, that interface up, that Mac up, whatever it is. Protect it, treat it right, and when it's time for you to buy something else, you can get some value. Somebody will give you money for what that device is and capable of doing, because there's always somebody starting behind you, somebody that's willing to do what you didn't do so that you could grow forward. So always keep that in mind. Now we're almost out of here on this pod, but one thing I wanted to talk about that I was listening to, and let me go back and say something real quick. Let me go back on the buying thing. Yes, there are a lot of new cameras. There are a lot of things going out, a lot of new gear, especially with the holidays. They're going to try to trick us. They're going to try to get this money out of us. We're going to save this money because, one, they're not talking about it, but we are in the middle of a recession. So make sure you are not overcompensating into something that you will not make money from. Okay, so if you got gear at the house that's sitting around you not using, it's a good time to get off of it. It's a good time to throw that joke on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something and get you a couple dollars out of it, right? So that you can, hey, we need, and we got to keep our money tight. But this leads me to a better segue. I want you to know that buying used is just as good. Yo, B&H and a lot of these places now, they test this stuff they buy. All this used gear, it goes through, and you still get somewhat of a warranty. So if it does conk out, you still can send it back. Listen, buying used is my new favorite thing. Pun intended, right? But buying used is something I've learned to appreciate and love. When I tell you, I cannot count the times somebody will buy a camera, and I kid you not, somebody will buy a camera and they will get it because they saw somebody on YouTube use it, and they don't understand that this guy is using a $3,000 lens or like some extra additive that you do not have. Or like I would tell people all the time, if you see that camera in the shot, they're not using that camera to film that video. They're probably using something of higher standard that they got sent for free or all these things. So you got to be careful with the YouTube stuff. Just watching people on YouTube or Instagram or whatever platform now everybody's posting to, and it looks amazing, but that's not how it works for you. There's still a skill set and an art to creating beautiful content. And that's what I want you to focus more on, is the how, and how to make things look a certain way, because it's not just the cameras. It's a lot more things involved. It's not just the audio interface. It's a lot more things involved. Understanding signal flow, understanding how things work together. All of these things are things that make us who we are, and what we can present is our knowledge of our skills. Okay, so buy used, save some money. We're in the middle of a recession. Remember, your boy Low told you that. Okay, so I want you to be smart, because we're going into the holiday season. And instead of people buying you a bunch of stuff that you don't want for the holidays, take 5 seconds and really make a viable list that people can maybe help give you cash towards. When people know you really have a purpose for something, and I cannot stress this enough, and this is a bonus, when people know you have a real purpose, but you got to have a plan. When you can articulate a plan, if you want to start vlogging, if you want to start doing a podcast, look at what it takes. Find a very cost-efficient way to start and say, hey, here's my list of things that I would love anyone considering to get me a gift to invest in. If you want to get my headphones, if you want to get my Rodecaster Pro, if you want to get me a Zoom H4n, or probably now 6-7 4N, or whatever the latest thing is that can get you mobile. If you need an audio interface, a MIDI keyboard, whatever the case is. Some of you may say, I need a camera, a point and shoot that I can take good photos of my product. Whatever it is that you're needing, be authentic. Don't go to the super high end of stuff that you know you wouldn't buy yourself. Like, make it something practical and useful. And people, when they know you're trying to do something and grow, hey, here's my plan for 2023. I need these things. I wish I could do it on my own. But if you're thinking of me and you want to help, hey, here's how you can help. You can go to my wish list on Amazon, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. Target, B&H, wherever it is, share that and let people know what you need, and then come through. Don't let that stuff, if they get it and they help you with it, commit to being that person of integrity and make sure that you're doing what you need to do so that you can show them how much you appreciate them investing in you. Now, this is on a lighter note. let's get it to. I've been listening to some new music. Division has a new song album out. I thought it was good. Jermaine Dupri, Brian Michael Cox, they did a lot of Austin. What's Austin's last name? I forget Austin's last name. But they did a lot of the production on it. It was nice. Also been listening to the new Drake and 21, which is a very toxic album. I will get into that maybe at another time, because Drake said Drake has been popping off at the mouth. Like, I don't know who upset Drake, but he definitely has some things he had been waiting to get off his chest, and he said some stuff. But I'm a Drake fan, man. I go back to Drake before y'all knew who Drake was. Like, I had the mixtapes early on, man, and like, I just like the vibes he's always had. But anyway, I've been listening to Drake and 21's album. Her Loss is what the album title is. I've also been listening to Lecrae. We heard a little bit about that. We heard a little bit in the beginning of the podcast. Church Clothes 4. And man, they rapping on that. He's saying some stuff too. I love that he challenges the church in the sense of it not just being something that people expect him to say, because I think we got enough puppets in that. Religion and relationships with your believers should always be a personal thing. And last but not least, man, it is Lovember. That's right. You cannot have November without Low, because I was born on the 23rd, and yeah, man, sad season, but we are here. I'm enjoying it. I want you to know that, man, I appreciate you guys, and you mean more to me than you know. But until next time, man, I appreciate you pulling up. I appreciate you fooling with your boy, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and hopefully it won't be your last. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.